plaguing parts of Kogi State and other parts of the country. Hence the need for holistic review of the country's security architecture to name this ugly menace in the board forthwith. Accordingly, resolve to urge the federal government to direct all the relevant security agencies in the country to, as a matter of urgency, deploy their security arsenals to secure the immediate release of the monarch from his abductors. And 2, commend the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for giving directives to the National Security Advisor to establish forest guards across the country to curb the rising spate of insecurity in the country, and to draw Mr. President attention to the Nigerian Forest Security Service Establishment Bill 2025, recently passed by the National Assembly, awaiting presidential assent. This bill can be brought back to accommodate Mr. President's line of thought regarding the setting up of the proposed forest guard. I hereby move. Thank you.
The Deputy Senate Leader, you can second, and then we'll go to the prayers. Because we still have another one motion of this nature from
Mr.
the minority.
President, this issue, I'm Senator Ashiru, representing the people of Kwara South. The same proximity with distinguished senators' senatorial districts. In fact, we share a large expanse of boundary and a large expanse of forests that run almost across the length and breadth of my senatorial districts. This incident is very, very disheartening, Your Excellency. I can recollect that in the past 4 weeks, this issue of banditry, kidnapping, at least I can mention 4 or 5 in that same proximity that has to deal with people of my senatorial district. And I will want to point out that in as much as possible that we can call the federal government to do a lot in issues of security, we must remember that in every locality there is local government. And there is security part of local government's responsibility. I will further want to call on each local government around that area to be up to their task. We are now in an era where local governments are almost autonomous. They are enjoying a lot of, by the courtesy of our president, they are enjoying a lot of freedom, a lot of resources. I want to call on each of these local governments to be up to their responsibility. Equally too, we have to call on the state government, the government of Kwara State, the government of Kogi State, to rise up to the occasion. This is very disheartening, and a lot of people are suffering from it. I stand to support entirely the resolutions of this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now let's go to the prayer. Prayer 1. Urge the federal government to direct all the relevant security agencies in the country to, as a matter of urgency, deploy their security arsenals to secure the immediate release of the monarch from his abductors. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Commend the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for giving directives to the National Security Advisor to establish forest guards across the country to curb the rising spate of insecurity in the country and to draw Mr. President's attention to the Nigerian Forest Security Service Establishment Bill 2025, recently passed by the National Assembly, awaiting presidential assent. This bill can be brought back to accommodate the President's line of thought regarding the setting up of the proposed forest guard. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer.
Yeah, Your Excellency, I think we should not forget to add.
Just read your additional prayer and somebody will second.
Okay, that the local government and the state government should call upon to rise up to their responsibility as far as security is concerned.
Seconder, Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I beg to second.
In favor of the additional prayer, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Isa General Chocho, additional prayer? Go ahead.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. My additional prayer goes thus. Encourage vigilante groups in Kogi State and the environ through adequate remunerations and various forms of encouragements. Your Excellency, why I brought up this, okay.
Seconder.
Second. Okay.
Seconder, Senator Titus Zam.
Your Excellency, I'm Senator Titus Zam. I represent Benue Northwest. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, Senator Sani Jibri. As so moved.
Those in favor of the additional prayer, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you for this additional prayer. You don't need to elaborate. It's understood. Thank you very much, Senator Karimi Sunday, for bringing forward this motion, because it's certainly sad. We stand by you. We sympathize with your people for the adoption of the traditional ruler of that town. Is something it's an affront to the authorities of this country that one will have the audacity to move in to adopt a traditional ruler. This is very bad, and I'm sure the government is doing all its best to make sure that those who took this heinous crime will be apprehended and prosecuted, so that you serve deterrent to those who might want to do the same in the future. We hope that he will be discovered and brought back to his palace as soon as possible. Leader of the Senate, point up the order. Okay, order what?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Abba Moro, a minority leader. Mr. President, without sounding like a broken record, I want to ask my colleagues, and indeed the indulgence of Mr. President, to allow me to come under Order 41 and 51, and to ask Mr. President that we regulate our rules, especially in view of Order 41.4, to accommodate this matter. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority leader, you know, we can only have this once in a day, but being the minority leader, is it you've heard about the content of his motion, the synopsis? Is he the view of the Senate that we should oblige him to have the motion heard? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You can go ahead. Expeditious manner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your indulgence, and my colleagues, I thank you for giving me this privilege. Mr. President, it is something that we all know about, but something that is occurring day by day, and the need to bring it to the public domain becomes germane. Mr. President, is about herdsmen attacks on Akpeti and Ojantele communities of Apa local government area of the Benue South Senatorial District, and asking for an urgent intervention of the Senate. Mr. President, the Senate notes with grave concern the attacks of suspected Fulani herdsmen on two communities of Akpeti and Ojantele of Apa local government area of Benue South Senatorial District of Benue State on the 1st and 7th of May 2025, respectively. Senate knows further with sadness that no less than 13 persons who were moving about their normal businesses were mowed down by these marauders. Saddened further that this is one in a series of attacks and kidnappings carried out by the herdsmen in communities in Benue South Senatorial District, leaving in their wakes
loss of lives, and wanton destruction of properties. More saddened that as of today, no single person out of the perpetrators of these heinous attacks has been apprehended. Accordingly, the Senate resolves: 1. Urge the Nigerian police and other relevant security agencies to carry out a comprehensive investigation of these dastardly acts with a view to arresting the perpetrators. 2. Urge the federal government to mount comprehensive surveillance at the affected areas and other areas to proactively detect and deter such further attacks. 3. Urge the Nigerian police and other relevant security agencies, as a matter of national emergency necessity, to review their operational mechanism with a view to be more proactive. And lastly, request the National Emergency Management Agency to immediately mobilize relief materials to those many persons displaced by these recent attacks in Echori and Itakwa communities. And finally, request the Senate to observe a minute silence in honor of the deceased persons. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Titus Zam, you may second the motion so I can go to the prayers.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, Senator Abomoro. And I want to add my voice by saying that this has been a recurring decimal in Benue State. Even yesterday, I have the similar experience in my local government. And I want to urge the Senate to support this motion together with all the prayers as so moved. I second, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Go to the prayer, please. Prayer 1, urge the Nigerian police and other relevant security agencies to carry out a comprehensive investigation of these acts with a view to arresting the perpetrators. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Sorry. Prayer 2, urge the federal government to mount comprehensive surveillance at the affected areas to proactively detect and deter further future attacks. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. All the Nigerian police and other relevant security agencies, as a matter of national emergency necessity, to review with their operational mechanisms with a view to be more proactive. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Request the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately mobilize relief materials to those many persons displaced by these recent attacks in Echori and Itakwa communities. Those in favor of the prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. Request the Senate to observe a minute silence in honor of the deceased persons. Those in favor of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Odende, do you have additional prayer? Odende, do you have additional prayer? No. Okay, thank you. So, can we observe a minute silence to honor those killed? May the souls of those who were killed in the attacks that took place on the people of Akwete or Janele community or Jantele communities of Upper local government area of Benue State, Senatorial District, Benue South Central District, rest in perfect peace. The Senate leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in my name on the National Commission on Environmental and Social Safeguarding Establishment Bill 2025, SB 772. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Commission for Environmental and Social Safeguarding Establishment Bill 2025, SB 772, first reading.
National Commission on Environmental and Social Safeguarding Establishment Bill 2025, SB 772, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Jimoh Ibrahim on the National Universities Commission Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 778. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Universities Commission Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 778, first reading.
National University Commission Act, National Universities Commission Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 778, first reading taken. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Mpigi Barinada on the Second-Hand Enforcement and Deterrence Bill 2025, SB 780. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Second-Hand Enforcement and Deterrence Bill 2025, SB 780, first reading.
Second-Hand Enforcement and Deterrence Bill 2025, SB 780, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Abbas Aminu Iya on the Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 790. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 790, first reading.
Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 790, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Eshinlokun Sani Wasiu on the Nigeria Maritime Academy the fifth business of the day, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm sorry. The fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Yar Adua Abdul Aziz on the Armed Forces Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 791. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Armed Forces Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 791, first reading.
Armed Forces Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 791, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Eshinlokun Sani Wasiu on the Nigeria Maritime Academy Oron Establishment Bill 2025, SB 792. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Nigeria Maritime Academy Oron Establishment Bill 2025. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Maritime Academy Oron Establishment Bill 2025, SB 792, first reading.
Nigeria Maritime Academy Oron Establishment Bill 2025, SB 792, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the second reading of the Malaria Eradication Agency Establishment Bill 2025, SB 172. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Tuesday, 28 November 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Nwoko Ned Munir to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator, Honorable Senator Barrister Alhaji Ned Munir Nwoko, the floor is left to you to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Ned Nwoko. I represent the good people of Delta North, Delta State. Mr. President, this is a motion for the second reading of the bill for an act to establish the National Agency for Malaria Eradication, NAME. I rise today to lead the debate on a bill for an act to establish the National Agency for Malaria Eradication. This bill, which was first read on Tuesday, November 28, 2023, now appears before this chamber with a revised title and a sharpened focus, because what it seeks to address is nothing short of a national emergency. Mr. President, according to the World Health Organization's report 2024, Africa records approximately 6,000 malaria deaths annually. Alarmingly, Nigeria accounts for over 184,000 of these deaths, the highest burden globally. Beyond the statistics, this translates to families devastated, futures aborted, and national productivity diminished. Malaria is not merely a public health issue. It is a structural crisis that impairs maternal health, drains economic productivity, and impedes national development. It accounts for approximately 11% of maternal mortality in Nigeria, contributing to severe anemia, miscarriages, stillbirths, infant deaths, tragic outcomes that disproportionately affect our most vulnerable citizens. Distinguished colleagues, economically, malaria bleeds the nation through the loss of millions of man-hours each year. Entire sectors experience drops in efficiency. Business absorb avoidable health-related costs, and our national output is compromised simply because we have normalized what would have never been normalized. This normalization is the root of the problem. If malaria were endemic to Europe or North America, we would not have been grappling with it a century later. Mr. President, COVID-19 showed us what is possible when the world mobilizes against a health crisis. In mere months, vaccines were developed, global funding was unleashed, and containment protocols deployed. By contrast, malaria, despite centuries of devastation, continues to receive tepid responses and fragmented interventions. As a private citizen, distinguished colleagues, I've taken bold steps through my foundation to mobilize advocacy, promote research, and initiate high-level consultations, including hosting a strategic WHO meeting in my village to shape a Pan-African strategy. But these efforts, however well-meaning, cannot substitute for structural national action. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the current health architecture is insufficient. The National Malaria Elimination Program, NMEP, is a policy-based but underpowered. The National Health Development Agency, NPHCDA, delivers care but lacks scale and support. The National Center for Disease Control, though stellar during COVID-19, is peripheral in malaria matters. Even the Presidential End Malaria Council, though well conceived, lacks legislative anchoring and executive muscle. The bill proposes a centralized, autonomous, and fully resourced national agency for malaria eradication. Its mandate will be clear and aggressive. Formulate and champion national policies for malaria eradication, coordinate interagency and sectoral responses with authority, mobilize and manage resources efficiently and transparently, invest in and support vaccine research, including genetic innovation, being explored globally. Implement routine vector control operations, including nationwide fumigation to eliminate breed sites, interrupt malaria spread, and achieve zero local transmission. Distinguished colleagues, Nigeria cannot come to lead the world in malaria deaths. Our vectors are evolving, our parasites adapting, so must our institutional responses. A fragmented structure cannot confront a mutating threat. We need a unified, science-driven, and legislative-backed institution with a singular mandate to end malaria in Nigeria. Mr. President, the time has come for this nation to demonstrate the political will, urgency, and resolve that malaria eradication demands. Let this bill be our collective legacy. A line in the sand, marking the point where Nigeria stood up, not just to treat malaria, but to end it. I urge you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues, to support the speedy passage of this bill as a critical step towards saving lives, strengthening our public health infrastructure, securing health future of our nation. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you.
Senator Victor Ome.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ome, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to second that this bill for the establishment of malaria agency a bill for an act to establish the National Agency for Malaria Eradication in Nigeria be read for a second time. And in doing so, Mr. President, I want to say that the sponsor of this bill has actually gone to a very debilitating problem we have had over the years, not only in Nigeria, but in West Africa and Africa as a whole. Malaria is a problem and a scourge that has continued to lead to early deaths and incessant deaths among the citizens of this country and the West African sub-region. The mosquito, which is the vector, the conveyor of this malaria, is every day claiming the lives of people, stinging mosquitoes. Many people died in the West African sub-region. Even the people who came from Europe, it was mosquito and malaria that sent them to early deaths. But those of us who are here in this part of the world,
remaining. 1
in
minute.
this part of the world, we have continued to pay dearly because we have not addressed the issue very well. It has not been coordinated with a view to ending it. We use mosquito nets and all sorts of things, but modern ways of doing this will be by developing vaccines that can help the citizens be resistant to this malaria. Billions of naira.
Thank you very much. Your time
are
is
being
up.
spent on anti-malaria drugs. You know, that money we are using to import these anti-malaria drugs could have been channeled to research on how to eliminate this scourge from our continent.
Thank you.
Mr.
Senator
President. I
Davinono,
support this bill.
Senator Davinono, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Ide Dafinone, and I represent the good people of Delta Central. I rise to support the debate that the bill for an act to establish the National Agency for Malaria Eradication should move to a second reading. Mr. President, sir, I want to emphasize 2 points in this bill. That firstly, aside from the saving of lives, the impact of which on families around the country is devastating. The man-hours lost through malaria, sickness, illness, has an incredible impact on the gross domestic product of our country. We indeed need more statistics to show the actual impact, but on a general level, sir, the number of employees taking malaria medicine on a weekly basis is a reflection of the impact of the disease on our workforce and therefore our man-hours. Equally concerning, and this is the second and final point, sir, the malaria impact on infant mortality shows the impact on families and the impact it has, therefore, on destroying young families where the young are most vulnerable. This bill will focus our attention on eradicating malaria, or at least in the first instance, reducing the impact in terms of death and in terms of sickness amongst the Nigerian people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Babangida Hussein.
Thank you very much, the President. I'm Senator Babangida Hussein, representing Jigawa Northwest. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in standing to lend my voice to this very important bill, I take cognizance of the report of the World Health Organization 2024 that approximately actually reported cases put at 184,000 Nigerians have died from malaria complications in Nigeria. I believe in some communities and villages, in the creeks, there will definitely be some deaths that have not been reported. I believe the time has come for us to look critically at this problem and to proffer solutions that will address the problem. Why I say so is because the lives of Nigerians and the devastating effect of malaria is beyond comprehension. My experience in medical terms was that if you don't see a malarial plasmodium parasite in the blood of a Nigerian, then something is wrong. And I think it is time for us to really look at this. I quite agree with the recommendation in the bill in respect of creating an agency that will drive the fight against malaria in Nigeria. I commend the presenter of the bill, and I urge our colleagues to give this very important bill all the support it requires for us to seriously pass it and bring relief and succor to Nigerian families. Thank you, sir.
Well, this bill is very straightforward. Malaria, we know about malaria since we were born. To continue to, debate on this, I think is something that it doesn't add anything to it. But since people want to speak, I mean, Senator, just 1 minute. Just want to say one or two words.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ezanwa Onyewuchi, and I represent Imo East Senatorial District of Imo State. Mr. President, I want to lend my voice to this debate on the eradication of malaria, which I consider a major public health problem. Mr. President, in addition to what my colleagues have said, I just want to say that some developed countries today have been able to eradicate malaria. When you go to the UK now, you feel relaxed. But they had a similar problem in the past. United Kingdom, France, even the United States, they've been able to deal with this matter. And a quarter of all the malaria cases in Africa occur in Nigeria. Nigeria has a quarter of all the malaria cases that occur in Africa. So that makes it imperative for us to rise and fight this scourge. Mr. President,
your time is off. You have 1 minute.
Let me also add, there was a summit in 2000 on malaria eradication. 25 years after, nothing has happened. Like a Chinese proverb would say, the best time to plant a tree is yesterday. The next best time is now. So this is the time to start the fight against malaria. Thank you.
You have a minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mpigi Baranada, I represent the people of Rivers Southeast Senatorial District. Mr. President, I want to thank our brother for this very noble bill. Mr. President, I lend my voice in about 4 areas. Firstly, Mr. President, it has to do with a strategic focus. When we look at the strategic focus about this bill, it has to give us what we call a strategic and a dedicated policies that has to do with mosquito eradication. Secondly, resource allocation. When we look at the case of resource allocation, Mr. President, in this case, right now, there is no allocation specifically for mosquito eradication. But with this agency, there will be allocation that will be dedicated to mosquitoes. Thirdly, Mr. President, it has to look at what we call sustainability.
Thank you. Your time is off.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I put the question. Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me work. We are lucky. You must have lobbied very well. A lot of our colleagues here felt that there was no deal for this agency. They didn't want to vote for it, but you lobbied, and it went through. So congratulations. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I be asked to establish the National Agency for Malaria Eradication and for Related Matters 2025, SB 172, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish National Agency for Malaria Eradication and for Related Matters 2025, second reading. Taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Health to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the second reading of the Local Industry Patronage Bill 2024 SB 613. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 16th October 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Ndubueze Patrick to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Patrick, Engineer Senator Patrick Ndubueze, the floor is yielded to you to move your motion.
Mr. President, fellow distinguished senators, my name is Engineer Patrick C. Ndubueze. I represent Imo North Senatorial District in these hallowed chambers. This bill, with a short title, Local Automotive Industry Patronage Bill 2025. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, it is with utmost pleasure to lead the debate on the general principles for the Local Automobile Industry Patronage Bill 2025. The bill seeks to make it mandatory for ministries, departments, agencies to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous companies in the procurement of goods and services, and to prohibit the exclusion of locally produced goods in the procurement process and for the related matters. The bill, as was stated earlier by the leader, was read first in this hallowed chamber 16th October, that's Wednesday, 2024. I'll start with saying, any country that aims to achieve steady economic growth and development must have a policy that encourages and provides a framework for local production. It is important that goods and services are produced locally, as its ripple effect is a reduction in imports and a rise in exports. That's balance of trade. Unfortunately, over the years, we have failed to institutionalize the use of indigenous products, brands, and services in Nigeria, and have instead glorified foreign goods of no particular superior quality. This failure has and is being felt in no less a sector than our economy. Today, we see the seesawing of Naira, and with every plunge, inflation bites harder. Nigeria must, at this stage of our history, enforce a sustainable policy on made in Nigeria automobiles, while imported cars continue to count for billions of dollars in forex outflow. Also, one of the biggest expenses of both the public and civil service is the procurement of foreign automobiles. How do we stand the free fall of Naira if we cannot address our appetite for foreign goods? However, how do we support the development of indigenous brands if the biggest spender year on year, government refuses to buy made in Nigerian goods? In the past, due to insufficient domestic vehicle production, Nigeria was heavily dependent on imports to meet local demand. And since the rise of a local brand such as local vehicle manufacturers, we are still heavily dependent on imports of automobiles. In 2021, passenger cars constituted the largest export dollar value from the United States to Nigeria, more than $1 billion. This according to United Nations confirmed figures. The launch of the Automotive Industry Development Plan, NAIDP, in 2014 attracted interest of leading international car makers and led to the resumption of small-scale vehicle assembly in Nigeria. According to news reports, 28 assembly plants began operations out of the 54 auto assembly licenses issued. But only 6 remain operational and are producing at very low capacity due to forex challenges, infrastructure, and capacity gap. Due to these challenges, several automakers moved to nearby countries like Ghana and are setting up assembly plants there with plans to export to Nigeria. In February 2021, the National Automotive Design and Development Council, in collaboration.
Are you reading from this? You are reading another thing. He has finished now, so let's have somebody. Okay. Let's go to prayers.
Hold on. Excuse me.
You are finished. You can sit down.
Are you my brother?
Senator Patrick.
Yes, sir.
You want people to debate your bill.
Yes.
You are the sponsor and you are the only person involved in the debate. You can sit down so that others will contribute. It is a beautiful bill. So you have said your mind. You can now sit down so that others will contribute. Only you cannot make a law. Okay. Otherwise, they will kill it.
I understood that they brought summary to you. Let me seize the opportunity. Let me move it now. Let me seize the opportunity to move that this hollow chamber consider this bill for its very importance and allow it to be read the second time.
Thank you, Chief Whip.
Thank you.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, this bill is apt and germane, especially against the background of the fact that the federal government is promoting the use and patronage of made in Nigeria goods in order to promote local industries with all the attendant effect of creating more employment and growing our GDP. Mr. President, distinguished senators, if I can refresh your memory, about a week ago, the Federal Executive Council passed a resolution to the effect that Nigerians should patronize made in Nigerian goods to the extent that all ministries, departments, and agencies of government were equally directed to patronize made in Nigerian goods in order to promote local industry. So what this bill seeks to do is essentially to give legal truth to the resolution of the Federal Executive Council, so that the resolution of the Federal Executive Council is done through an executive period, which is subject to the whims and caprices of subsequent governments. But by passing it into law, we are going to insulate it from the whims and caprices of subsequent governments, and it will be binding on ministries, departments, and agencies to follow it to the letter. So I support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
My colleagues, this bill is very important and direct and very clear. There has been a clamor in several years back, and even currently, that we should patronize made in Nigeria vehicles. There are assembly plants and there are manufacture of vehicles in this country. So if we are able to patronize them, of course, it will help our economy because more jobs will be created. We wouldn't be spending our money to import cars overseas, which is always inimical to our economy, because the hard-earned foreign exchange will no longer be utilized in that respect, thereby conserving our hard-earned foreign exchange. It's a very good economic decision. It's something that will help our economy. It has been said over and over again. It's not a new thing. So I don't think we should belabor ourselves by going too much, by engaging too much debate on this. Is it therefore the wish of this hallowed chamber that this bill be read the second time? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to make it mandatory for ministries, departments, and agencies to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous automobile companies in procurement process and for related matters 2025. Second reading.
A bill for an act to make it mandatory for ministries, departments, and agencies, including the Senate, to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous automobile companies in procurement process and for related matters 2025. Second reading taken. Thank you, Senator Patrick, for bringing forward this bill. The bill is important, it's good for our economy and for our nation. If we are able to go this route, we will then be able to encourage our manufacturers, even more, to come on board, so that the automobile industry will be galvanized and be strengthened for the good of our nation. We will no longer be spending money importing vehicles, and wasting or spending our hard-earned foreign exchange. So many advantages will go with these. More jobs will be created. Our engineers that have been the graduates in engineering, automobile engineering that we've been producing at universities will now be utilized in our country. So we thank you very much for bringing forward this bill, and we hope the process to get it assented to by Mr. President will be expeditious. Thank you very much. The Senate Leader. The Committee on Public Procurement is to take on the processing of this bill. So the bill is referred to the Committee on Public Procurement and to report back within 4 weeks. The Leader of Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Health. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Health on the following bills. 1. National Eye Center Ochadamu Kogi State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 589. 2. National Eye Center Jimeta Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 524. Distinguished senators will recall that the bills were referred to the committee on Thursday, 10th October 2024 and Tuesday, 25th February 2025, respectively. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Amos Yohana, who is to take this on behalf of Senator Baningi Palibo Harry, the chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Yohana, the floor is yielded to you to move the motion as explained, as said by the leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Amos Yohana. I represent Adamawa North and a member of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary. I stand to move a motion on behalf of the chairman that I lay the report on the two bills for consideration. I so move.
Senator Adebule Diallo, my former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, you have the floor to second the motion.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, my name is Idiat Oluranti Adebule. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by the representative of Senator Baningo Ipinabo Harry, pardon me, can pick the name, for the presentation of the report of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary. I so submit, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much for seconding the motion. In respect of a committee chair by a former deputy governor as well, your former colleague from River State. Those in favor of the motion, as moved by Senator Amos and seconded by Senator Idiat, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may present your report. The report.
Mr. President, with your permission, may I present the report on the amendment bill for the establishment of the Federal Eye Center, Ochadamu. With your permission, Mr. President, I will go straight to the recommendation.
Go ahead, just read the synopsis and then put them together, read the synopsis and go to the conclusion.
Yes, sir. The bill for the establishment is actually an amendment bill for the establishment of Federal Eye Center or National Eye Center, Ochadamu, Kogi State. Was referred to the committee on the 25th of February 2025. And I will go straight to the recommendation. After a close-by-close consideration of the bill, which has 24 clauses, one schedule, and an explanatory memorandum, the committee recommends as follows. The amendment of clauses 1, 3 to 10, 17 to 19,
21, 23 to 24, the schedule and explanatory memorandum. The committee also recommends the retention of clauses 2, 11, 16, 20, and 22. The committee also recommends the insertion of a new clause 2 sub 2G, that is on the Ochadamu National Eye Center. Eye Center Ochadamu, Kogi State. The second bill, Mr. President, is for the establishment of National Eye Center Jimeta, Adamawa State. This bill was referred to the committee on the 10th of October 2024. And after consideration of the bill clause by clause, the committee recommends that clauses 1, 3 to 10, 17 to 19, 21, 23, the schedule, the short title, and the explanatory memorandum be amended. It also recommends the retention of clauses 2, 11 to 16, 20, and 22. The committee also recommends the insertion of clauses 2 sub 2G. Mr. President, the committee urges this very hallowed chamber to give this report acceleration, consideration, and passage into law.
Thank you very much. In absence of any observation, Senate Leader, may you move so that we resolve to the Committee of Whole to consider the report. Committee of Whole to consider the report.
Mr. Speaker, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate now resolve to a Committee of the Whole for further consideration of this report. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the Committee of the Whole to consider the report.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the Minority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We now resort to Committee of the Whole to consider the report. Those in favor that National Eye Center Ochadamu Kogi State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 589. Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 23, and 24 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title on clause 24, page 19, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those in favor that the schedules 1 on page 19 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 23 stand part of the bill, say aye. The ayes have it. Sorry, those against say nay. No nay. Okay, the ayes have it. The second report, National Eye Center, Jimeta, Adamawa State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 524. Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 stand parts of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 stand part of the bill. Sorry, 23, 23. Stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 23, 24, 25, 26 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title, that's clause 23 on page 22 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the schedules on the schedule on page 1, schedule 1, sorry, on page 22, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate, can you move that we revert to the plenary to report progress?
Thank you, Mr. President. Sitting as chair, I rise to move that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chair report progress.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We have the two reports. Report 1, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary on the National Eye Center of Chadamu, Kogi State, Establishment Bill 2025, and approved as follows. Long title, as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 22 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 23 as recommended. Short title, clause 24 as recommended. Schedule. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? You said no. You didn't answer, Isa Ibrahim. Report number 2. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary on the National Eye Center, Jamaica, Adamawa State, Establishment Bill 2025. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 21 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 22 as recommended. Short title, clause 23 as recommended. Schedule 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. It is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. So thank you. Let me commend the Committee on Health for a job well done. The reports were put together in the most articulate manner, very well explained and direct to the point. And on this note, I congratulations to Abbas Abbas for the passage of this bill. I think it's something, and also Senator Isa Jibril Ochocho for showing good representation of their people by bringing forward these two bills, which certainly will help to advance the healthcare delivery system in their respective central zones. I'm sure your people will be very happy, listening to what is happening here or watching what is happening here, because you are doing very well. It's a testimony of what you are doing to advance the cause of people at the national pedestal. You continue to do more so that your people would benefit for your representation here. Thank you very much, and I commend you, and the Senate commends you as well. Yeah. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the committee.
Oh, sorry,
Yes, Mr.
Yes,
President,
yes.
very distinguished colleagues, I should first be standing to move that the bill be now read the third time.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that this bill be read the third time. I so second.
The Clerk of the Senate. Oh, sorry. Those in favor of the motion moved by the Leader and second by Minority, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Thank you. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish the National Eye Center, or CHADAMU, to take over staff, assets, and liabilities of the Holland Memorial Hospital, or CHADAMU, Kogi State, for the prevention and cure of eye defects and diseases, and to establish a board to govern the center's academic affairs and for related matters 2025, HB 589, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish the National Eye Center, Jemeta, Adamawa State, and for related matters 2025, SB 524, third reading.
A bill for an act to establish the National Eye Center, or CHADAMU, to take over assets and liabilities of the Holy Memorial Hospital, or CHADAMU, Kogi State, for prevention and cure of eye defects and diseases, and to establish a board to govern the center's academic affairs and for related matters 2025, third reading taken and passed. The second one, a bill for an act to establish National Eye Center, Jemeta, Adamawa State, and for related matters 2025, SB 524, third reading taken and passed. The Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. The fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, Owerri, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 155. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 15th October 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Mohammed Dandutse Muntari, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Mohammed Muntari Dandutse, chairman Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund, the floor is yielded to you to move your motion as explained or as said by the Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I remain Dandutse Muntari Mohammed, representing Katsina South, that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, Owerri, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 155. I so move, Mr. President.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion ably moved by my chairman for the presentation of this report. So second.
I realize now, otherwise I'll say, are you not tired of seconding? You always second leaders' motion. So it's now that I understand that, I understood now. I've come to understand that, okay, because you are the deputy chairman. I was wondering, I said, all the one I've been second, is it okay for you? Okay, you might go ahead. So you can just read, summarize, and then go to recommendation and then conclusion. Because this kind of things they are familiar to us.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Don't need to.
My respected colleagues, the bill seeks to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without discrimination on account of race, sex, or political conviction. The legislative summary of the bill, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, at this juncture, I wish to inform you that the inference drawn by the committee at the end of this exercise is informed by the fact that this assignment has received overwhelming support of the stakeholders. Similarly, the committee has critically examined the provision of the bill and juxtaposed with the presentation made by stakeholders with a view to balancing it to upgrade the Alban Ikoko College of Education to the Alban Ikoko Federal University of Education, Owerri in Imo State. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institution and Third Fund, to which this bill was referred, has carefully considered, same hereby recommend as follow, that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Alban Ikogo Federal University of Education, Owerri Establishment Bill 2025, SB 155 as recommended. In conclusion, Mr. President, I wish to use this opportunity to thank to the President of the Senate and distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity and to humbly request the Senate to pass this bill. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you. There's no need for debate. This institution is already existing. It has only been upgraded to Federal University of Education, Alban Ikogo Federal University of Education. What is being done now is to give it legal backing. So there's no need for any debate. I therefore kindly request the Senate leader to move so that we can go to the committee of whole to consider a report. Minority Leader, disturbing the leader. That's fine. Okay, you have been protected by the leader. You are protected. This minority leader, you are.
The minority leader is holding very serious discussions.
That's very good, minority leader.
He's trying to consider his future. Trying to consider one day about what will be his future in the PDP.
That's very good.
The faction of the.
Thank you. I can understand now. He wants to move. He's negotiating his movement to APC.
Very well.
That's very good.
Very well. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate now resolves to the Committee of the Whole for further consideration of this report. I so move.
The minority leader, I've been negotiated very well. very well with the Senate leader for your movement to APC. You can now second the motion.
Well, in line with Section 27(2)(1, as part of the duties of the minority leader, after liaising effectively with the Senate leader, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, as moved by the leader and seconded by the leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Alvin Ikoku, Federal University of Education, Owerri, Imo State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 155. Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 30 stand pass of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. Those in favor that clauses 31 to 61 stand pass of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 61 to 100 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 101. No. In favor that explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill. So there was a mistake. There were mistakes, but it has been corrected here in the brief. So let me come again. Those in favor that clauses 1 to 10 stand pass of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11 to 20 stand pass of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 21 to 30 stand pass of the bill, say aye.
Mr. Chairman, 27?
Yes, 27.
Yeah.
Clause 27, right?
Yes, retiring age. Retiring age of academic staff. And by your grace, I read. There are notwithstanding anything to the contrary in the Pension Reform Act. The compulsory retiring age of an academic staff of a university shall be 70, and any other staff is 65. Does it refer to academic staff or a professor? Or what the law says actually? Maybe
yes, it says, now let me read it again. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary in the Pension Reform Act, the compulsory retirement age of an academic staff of a university shall be 70 years. 70 years, academic staff. There's no ambiguity there. And other academic staff is 65 years.
No, sir. No, it's wrong.
Are you the chancellor of the university or professor? Your wife? You know through your wife?
Hello, sir. Yeah, this choice.
Our president seated as chair.
Okay.
The retirement for an academic staff of a university who is a professor before 65 is 70 years. Even if you are an academic staff, you've not attended the rank of a professor before 65, you will still retire at 65 years old. Thank you.
Okay, we all agree is the same. No, are we all on the same page on this? Your neighbor, Venus is saying no.
Look at the sentence. Look at the sentence, Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. I think let's just say or put the amendment. I think it should read, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, in the Pensions Reform Act, the compulsory retiring age of a professor of a university shall be 70 years. Any other academic staff, 65 years.
65 years.
That's how it should be.
Since you've said the same thing with Senator Ningi. So since that is the case, you can now move for the amendment in line with your opposition.
I have moved. I have seconded.
You should stand up and move properly so that.
Mr. Chairman, may I move for the amendment of clause 27, section 1, to read as follows: notwithstanding anything to the contrary in the Pension Reform Act, the compulsory retirement age of an academic professor shall be 70 years and any other academic staff is 65 years old. I so move.
So she just oblige her. She wants to second. Just oblige her to allow for gender balance. Senator Adebule.
Yes, Mr. President. I just checked and discovered that the standard compulsory retirement age for academic staff, including professors, is generally 70 years.
You know, wait, Senator Adebule, are you not seconding his motion?
Well,
okay, you can sit down. Wait, there's a motion. There's a motion on the floor. You can sit down. You can raise your own issue. There's a motion on the floor. Sit down.
Yes, under the motion.
No. See, when you have a motion, Senator Adebule, distinguish.
Yes, sir.
The law is this. The rule is this. Once there's a motion, one will second. You can kill it or you can revive it, make it, So let's second the motion first. Since you are not seconding, let him second.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. I rise to second the amendment as proposed that the retirement age for an academic professor shall be 70 years and other academic staff 65 years. I so second.
But you are not seconding what he said. He said before the attainment of if that professor, if the person so referred to was able to attain professorship at the age of 65, then his retirement age will be 70. Is that not what you said?
The clear intentment of this particular clause is that professors retire at 70. Non-professors, whether you're academic, non-academic, you retire at 65. That's it. That is the intention.
Anyway, there's a motion. Okay, there's a seconder. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer? Additional prayer, sorry. Another amendment, sorry.
Another amendment, but guidance for the chamber. Your Excellency, the clause
Senator Adebule, see,
yes.
Just go straight to your amendment. Read your amendment so that somebody will second.
Yes,
it's not time for debate.
Yes, sir, I pass.
Just write it.
I pass.
You have withdrawn. Okay, thank you. So, those in favor of that clauses 28, 29, and 30 stand pass of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that explanatory memo that clause 30 or those in favor that long title on page 1 stand pass of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that interpretation clause 30 page 230 stand pass of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of short title, clause 31, page 21, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
That's clause 27. It's all academic staff. The 65 years is non-academic staff.
Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 33 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Abednego has just approached me to say that he has made more further research and has discovered certain things that are not in tandem with what we have earlier passed. Could you please raise it so that we can get that corrected?
Yes, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. I think making some research from Google, I've discovered that this clause has a little bit of setback. The intention is that 70 years, including professors, will be for academic. 65 years will be for non-academic. Just like what she was trying to raise. I think she's correct.
I think you told me that not only on Google, that you also sought the advice, or you refer to the clerk of the committee who is close to you there, and she confirmed what you saw in Google is to be correct.
She verified.
But I cannot depend on Google to amend our law.
She verified.
She verified. She told
all
you.
The laws are on
she
Google.
Confirmed. She confirmed.
All our laws are on Google, sir.
Yes, she confirmed. Yes.
I spent 20 years.
Please, a second that that should be corrected to what it ought to be, as said by him. Any seconder? Senator, you are not. Senator Mustafa, but you are not on your seat. Can you run to your seat as second?
Your Excellency, I rise to second the proposal ably moved by Senator Ningi that okay, I rise to second.
To second.
Thank you.
So those in favor of the amendment, further amendment, put forward by Senator Ningi and second by Senator Sali Musawa, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. So, clerk, take note and get it corrected. The leader of the Senate, can you move the motion for us to revert to plenary report progress?
Mr. President, I move a motion that we revert to plenary for you to report progress.
Thank you.
Sir President, sitting as chair,
second.
I second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Elijah, let me go up there. Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Alban Ikoku Federal University of Education, Owerri, Establishment Bill 2025, and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses, clause 1 to 26 as recommended. Clause 27 as recommended. Clause 28 to 29 as recommended. Interpretation clause 30 as recommended. Short title as recommended. Schedules 1 to 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I move a motion that the bill be read the third time.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Second.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that the bill be read a third time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the Leader of the Senate and second by leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, Owerri, to provide for the administration and management of the university and for other related matters 2025, SB 155, third reading.
A bill for an act to establish Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, Owerri, to provide for the administration and management of the university and for other related matters, third reading taken and passed. Let me commend the committee for a job well done, but more commendation and thanks should go to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who in the first place approved the upgrading of the university of the College of Education to Federal University of Education. You may recall that
Just to join by voice to commend the distinguished senators, sponsors of the bill for the passage of the Alvan Ikoku University of Education. This will help to enrich the educational sector and help a lot of Nigerian children who are daily and yearly yearning for admission. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, the fifth and sixth order of the day are the House bills for concurrence as listed in the order paper. Mr. President, for the simple nature of the bills and interchamber reciprocity, I will present a lead debate on the bill.
Proceed.
Mr. President, the sponsor of the debate is Senate Leader Senator Bamidele Okpeyemi on Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2025 and Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on these important bills from the House of Representatives for concurrence of the Senate. Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2024 were read for the first time Thursday, 13th February 2025. This bill seeks to amend the Federal Medical Center Act 2022 to provide for establishment of additional Federal Medical Center, Akonike, Itigidi, and Atang Ota, respectively. Federal University of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025 were read the first time Tuesday, 26 November 2024. This bill seeks to amend the Federal University of Agriculture Act, Cap F221, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, to make provision for establishment of Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, Enugu State, respectively. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, these bills are straightforward and have gone through necessary legislative process in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of this bill as we refer them to Committee of Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. Thank you, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that these bills, having gone through all the legislative processes, be read a second time and referred to the Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support that we resolve into committee of the whole. Any contribution? No. Those in support that we take the second reading before proceeding to committee of the whole for clause by clause consideration say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate. Huh? Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate, please approach. Clerk of the Senate, may wish to read the bill for the. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for related matters, 2025, HB 490, second reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Cap F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, and establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, Enugu State, and for related matters 2025, HB 430, second reading. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for related matters 2025, second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Cap F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, and establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and the Federal University of Agriculture, Ako Nike, Enugu State, and for later matters 2025, second reading taken. The two bills are now referred to the Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, motion to order 78/3. I move that the bill be now referred to the Committee of Whole for consideration.
Yes, the minority leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the Senate for the Senate to revolve into the Committee of the Whole for the clause-by-clause consideration of the bills. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion will be moved by the Leader of the Senate and seconded by the minority leader that we do resolve into Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration of the bills. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, report of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for related matters 2025. Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025. Long title on page 1. Those in support that the long title on page 1 be retained, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Number of clauses. Clauses 1, 2, and 3. Those in support of clauses 1, 2, and 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum. Those in support that this be retained say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, report of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act, CAP F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2024, and to establish the Federal Universities of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and the Federal Kaba, Kaba. Noted. Okay. To establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and then the Federal University of Agriculture, Akko, Nike. Nobody correcting me. No, Akko. Is it Akko or Akko? Akko, Nike, Enugu State, and for later matters 2025, HB 530. Those who support that long title in page 1 be retained. Say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 1, 2, and 3. Those in support that clauses 1, 2, and 3 form part of the bill say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum. Those in support that this be retained say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, you may wish to move a motion for us to report progress.
Mr. President, I move a motion that we return to plenary for Mr. President to report progress.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. Those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 2 as recommended. Short title in clause 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, the Senate, also in the Committee of the Whole, considered the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 2 as recommended. Short title on clause 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended.
Is this what transpired in the committee of the whole? Leader of the Senate, you may wish to move a motion for the third reading of the bills.
Mr. President, I stand to move the motion that this bill be read the third time.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that the bill be read the third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that the two bills just considered be read a third time. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for related matters 2025, HB 490, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act, Cap F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, and establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, Enugu State, and for related matters 2025, HB 530, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for related matters 2025, HB 490, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for related matters 2025, HB 490, third reading taken and passed. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act, Cap F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, and establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, in Kogi State, and also the Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, in Enugu State, and for related matters 2025, HB 530. Third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act, Cap F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, and to establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and also the Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, Enugu State, and for related matters 2025, third reading taken and passed. Let me thank my distinguished colleagues and brothers for the wonderful job done in ensuring the concurrence of the two bills that we have just read. And again, pray that the bills passed when assented into Acts of Parliament by Mr. President will also open more doors to our children to obtain tertiary education, thereby closing the doors of prison and also helping all Nigerians to sleep well and also to have education. Education is a major key to fighting insecurity in any country, and particularly in a plural country like Nigeria. So I thank all of you for your cooperation and your contributions. Let me also thank the Deputy Senate President and the entire Senate for the wonderful job done since morning. I heard when Senator Ndubeze was struggling to add meat to his bill and the need to patronize local automobile, and you try to expatiate, and then the Senate the Deputy Senate President sitting also advised you that stop talking, you've made enough point now. So, and there is no person opposing the bill. So I congratulate all of us because that is a landmark bill, not to talk of the ones from distinguished Senator Ned Nwoko. Malaria eradication is something that I believe strongly will assist Nigeria. And it's a disease of the tropics, but at the same time, if we're able to curb it, it will help to reduce infant mortality, maternal mortality, and help a lot of people to grow to reach old age. It's a major problem in most of the areas, particularly in Africa, that are affected. So I thank all of you.
wanda zai zo ya zauna ya haɗa da kai da shi da
Motion for adjournment.
Seconded.
Senator Anao, don't spoil our progress. So, Senate President is want to report progress, and you are pushing him forward.
Okay, you are in APC now, so I understand.
Senator Garba Maidoke, I don't know whether it was your voice that I heard. Who? But there was a voice, I couldn't pick it.
It was Medoki's voice, Mr. President.
Oh, that A special announcement. I did not hear the voice of distinguished Senator Garuba. I didn't hear the voice. APC. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Progress.
Leader of the Senate. Check off your microphone. This is Senator Garba, Leader of the Senate. Please use this weekend to do orientation for all the campees and for all those who have joined us, except somebody like Senator Adamu. A little happens to be, even Senator Yaya, those ones do not need any orientation, but young people like Senator Garama, did you hear? I said APC and he said power. He said power. so you have to download where you are. So welcome to the progressive family. Anyway, so distinguished colleagues, I want to thank the Deputy Senate President once again for the way in which she handled today's session. That was very speedy, and that enabled us to have this time to banter together. Just a major announcement. The Senate Committee to plan for the upcoming National Security Summit. The chairman of the committee, will be distinguished Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, the Senate leader. The vice chairman will be the former leader, distinguished Senator Yahya Abdullahi, APC Kebbi. And then, of course, we have members from the gender. We have distinguished Senator Ireti Kengibe, and we also have distinguished Senator Oranti Adebule Idiat as members. Then we have from zonal representations, we have distinguished Senator Barinada Mbigi. It's not because of militancy actually, but you know, this security summit, so we need people who have experience in security. I hope you understand. No, I'm saying for the planning committee, you have a lot of input because even environmental security is also important. Ogoniland is totally degraded and the situation there is terrible. So you understand the contributions you make in planning this national security. We want it to be all-embracing. So we have the former Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, and now a distinguished Senator, Senator Babangida Hussaini, as member. We have the mover of the motion, the only professor, the only holder PhD in warfare, distinguished Senator Jimo Ibrahim. Then we have distinguished Senator Sitangu. We have distinguished Senator Mohammed Tahir Mongunu. We have distinguished Senator Taitu Zam. We have distinguished Senator Ahmad Lawan, representing the Committee on Defense. Distinguished Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, representing the Committee on Army. Distinguished Senator Olubenga Daniels, representing the Committee on Navy. We have distinguished Senator Austin Akobondu, representing the Committee on Air Force. We have distinguished Senator Shehu Buba, representing the Committee on National Intelligence and National Security. We have Malam Maiduri, representing the Committee on Police Affairs. We have distinguished Senator Emmanuel Odende, anti-corruption czar of the Senate, and the interim clerk of the Senate will act as clerk of this committee. Distinguished Senate leader, how long do you have to plan this national security summit? How long should the Senate give you? So you have to report back to the Senate in 2 weeks. Yes.
I appreciate you have the absolute discretion, but I thought that the TDO is part of internal security.
Yes, I agree with you. Therefore, distinguished Senator Adams Oshimole, representing Interior, is also a member of that committee, but not chairman. Not chairman.
No chairman.
Member. Okay. Taken. Yes, my brother. Is it food security now? Agriculture. Use your mic.
I also want to suggest cyber security.
Yes, actually, Azaz. Afolabi. Yeah? No. It's, cyber security is very important. So please put down Azaz. Because we are not talking about goods at the port. So cyber security chief should also be a member of that committee. Thank you for bringing that to the fore. Can you move a motion for the adjournment of the Senate? Yes, you've noted the additions made by the Senate. The first is Interior, Chairman Interior. Clerk, please note. The second is cyber security. The third is customs, where all the goods and arms pass through the borders. So customs is there, and then communications combined with the cyber security chief of the Senate will be very good in the planning committee. If Senator Jimmy Kuta will stop talking about area councils and allow the Senate leader to move a motion to adjourn the Senate.
Well, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, let me once again thank all our distinguished colleagues for their painstaking efforts. It's been an extremely busy week for us in the Senate. And at this point, Mr. President, I'm rising to say that having concluded all our proceedings for today, that the Senate be now adjourned till Tuesday, I believe, the 20th day of May 2025. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I so second as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, the Senate leader has moved a motion seconded by the Minority Leader that this Hollow Chamber stands adjourned in plenary to Tuesday, the 20th day of May 2025. Those in support say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is currently adjourned to 20th day of May 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt.